Hello, Wade Cox here, and welcome to the Ski with Wade podcast. I've been involved with this sport of water skiing for over 40 years now. I was fortunate enough to be a professional, and now I'm a full-time water ski coach. Today's guest and I will be talking about water skiing. We'll also be talking a little bit about travel and maybe a little about life as well. Thanks for joining us today. Ski with Wade, Cutmore Road. Hey guys, welcome to Wade's World. My guest today is Thomas Degasperi, world champion, Masters champion, Moomba champion. We'll get into the rest of his resume in just a moment, but go to my website, skiwithwade.com. You can check out merch. I got a ton of HO gear as well. You'll see my Ski with Wade tour dates and any old podcast vlogs that I have, as well as TWBC dates. You'll be able to see this man up live and close, and you'll see me there some of the time. So without sort of further ado, let's get to the rest of this list. And so I went to Wikipedia for a bit of it, and I already knew some of it. So to start with, 8-time European slalom champion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not bad, man. Yeah, not bad. Oh my gosh. As we talked about, world champ, 2-time world champ, 3 Moomba championships, which is another element itself, kind of like a world. It's just added pressure. Yeah. So 2 Malibu Opens, his sponsor, one out in the backyard there. We're at his beautiful little ski lake here in Orlando. And yeah, it's quite an honor to be here. So World Games, Canadian Open, New Zealand Pro-Am, Mexican Pro-Am, San Gervasio Italian Pro-Am. Yeah, you got quite the list. And San Gervasio last summer.
Correct.
Yeah. Yes. So over 2 decades now.
Yeah.
Approaching 2 decades. Yeah. Full decades. Of
my first real pro event for me was the 2001 World Championships.
Okay.
I was brought in kind of as a rookie and last minute call. And I was the youngest one in the team and made the finals. I got 4th, almost made podium. So for me, that was kind of the breakthrough. Okay, this is what could be my life and what direction my life would have been going. And here I am now, 21 years later, still trying to, chasing buoys and chasing podiums.
Having fun, right?
Love it.
Having a blast.
Every year, more and more.
Yeah, no, exactly. You get to that point. I was the same. I mean, man, this is just so much fun. I'm so honored to get to do this, right?
Yeah, because, I still travel the world. I still compete with all these guys there. Some of them are still, most of them are younger than me. Some of them are older, but it's cool. It keeps me young. It keeps me going. And I enjoy it way more now than, there's still pressure, but there's less pressure than, let's say, 10 years ago.
Yeah. Now you're a young pro. And as always, you start hearing about them, hey, you get to hear these kids' names, from Europe, from maybe Australia, the same. And then, I show up for what is going to be my last European tour. I'd sort of said, you know what? I went for 04. I won Princess. I didn't go back in 05 to even defend my title. I had 2 little kids at home. Life started changing. So I decided I'm going to make this trip to France, and it was back-to-back weeks.
Yep.
And so, I remember the prelims. I think they cut Saturday maybe to Sunday 10, a 10-man final. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where you were. I think I was maybe 3rd from the end because I ran 2.5 at 10.25 on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So whatever it was, I blew it on Sunday, whatever. And this guy gets in a tie break with
Glenn
and Jason Paredes.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. A 3-man
tie with 3 at 41.
And did you tie twice or just once? Because you went out first, or did Glenn go out first?
I went out first.
You went out first. Okay. So no, because guys, this is one of the most incredible things that's ever happened in water skiing. So the 3 of them that forced to go at 10.7.
Correct.
To start. Yeah. And he runs 10-7 down, 39 for you Americanos. And then he goes on to just crush 41 coming back. And I was standing at the very end of the lake where the start dock was. And I was changing. I was pissed. And I wasn't out there because I was like, wow, this would be a super cool runoff to be in. Unless you were Glenn and Jason now. The score, was it a half or 1 of 43?
It was 1. I actually pulled to 2, and I got 1.
So now he's not necessarily an overnight sensation, but you've won your first pro title.
Yeah, that was 2006, and it surprises myself too. I wasn't expecting to do that, but I think everything clicked that day, and I just kept turning and going, and I was like, wow, I was definitely not expecting it, but also it was a wake-up call, and like it was towards my end of the college days, and and actually I was already out of college the first year, and that's actually when one of the first times that I actually met you. And you always been a legend to me, and like my dad, I remember like all these water ski magazines in Italy, and never got to meet you and Andy, and you're a big name, everybody knows your name, and then we got to ride together from Paris to Lacanau for the Malibu Open the following weekend, and I won that one too. So it's like
so I have a few notes from that from Ski West. 2 things. You crushed 41 in a runoff. And I'm like, oh my God, I was there. I witnessed it. I was the one taking a beat down. Second, we had a great time. Yes. So because CP, we brought this up with him recently. And he said, yeah, rosé all day, because we were literally having like vineyard rosé from right around the corner for after our ski rides at lunch, just like a small little glass. And it was like, oh my God, it was so good. You can't get it in America that good.
No, the way they organized the tournament was very, very great. Like they had food for us, they had massage therapists there for us, and just, top quality,
So I'd never met T-Gas, as everyone calls him. Before I don't have recollection of it until this point. And then I just remember not only do I get to meet you, but you ripped it up in the tournament. Then on the Monday, I also haven't written the nightclub going downstairs of where we were supposed to be bunking. I don't know if you stayed at the lake there at Ski West.
That night, I don't remember if I...
No, because I think Willie even ditched us, went and got a hotel because it was...
in a room with Risoselli, and that was actually one of the first time I actually met him, like not met him, but I kind of like hang out with him, and I didn't know where to stay, so I somehow got in contact with them, and I shared a room. But I think that night we spent the night in the house. Okay,
well, yeah, all the local hotels were full, so I think Willie got it hooked up. Somebody stay with. So me, CP, and Billy Susie, we crashed there, and they've got the disco going until 3 a.m. So hey. You can't beat them, join them. So, we sort of enjoyed our time. And then the Monday, we went up to Normandy. Remember, for the day?
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of 2 carloads. We went up, and it was really cool, like a historic place in the change the trajectory of the world. Yeah. And it was sort of the same with our friendship, because that's when you first shared, oh my God, my dad used to talk about Wade Cox. And I was like, oh, it's just sort of, it's heartwarming. And I mean, you've done it long enough now. You have those stories with you when a kid comes up and they go, oh my gosh, Thomas Degasperi. I've got pictures of you on my wall, it sort of gives you chills. It's one of those moments, so.
Well, I think that's the cool thing about our sports. You don't get to hang out and meet with the pros in many other sports, like anybody can come here and ski with me, take a lesson with me, or in Italy, but until you don't meet them and get an idea how they are, you create your own fantasy in your life about, you, Wade. For me, it was you and Andy, and you just make up this image in your head that is like, it just grows and grows, and like, you were my idol, you always been my idol, and I keep telling you that, and for me, just it's cool, it's very cool, and I hope I get other people that thinks about me, and then that's how it makes kids growing and falling in love with sport. I think, like, you know, they get to meet their idols and
No, I love it, man. You're a fantastic ambassador for the sport. So let's talk about that. Some of your junior skiing. Was it all in Italy? When was the first time you like sort of made a junior international team?
I won in 1995, my first junior European title.
Okay.
I broke the European record, which was 1 at 38. It was half before I got 1 at 38. That was in Italy. And then, you know, I competed. I did junior worlds in France. I did some tournaments. But I was a little bit heavier than now, let's say. And so I wasn't really breaking through. And I was in Italy, so I could only ski 4 or 5 months a year. So, I was more playing than really being focused on being like the best of the best. Of course, when I was in the tournament, I was trying to give my best. But it was more like, this is what the families come from. This is what my dad is doing. And I'll do it. I love it.
Right.
But it wasn't like my focus.
Yeah. So you already mentioned college. So let's talk about your collegiate skiing, because you were sort of in that period where it was starting to really grow and progress, and it was wicked cool to be part of your team.
Yeah, like I think, I mean, I'm sure now it's pretty cool too, but I think the best years were, you know, those years when, you know, it was me, Ryan Dodd, Regina, Natalia, Alexei in our team, and then there was Willie's team with Tom Asher, Trent Finlinson, you know, all the other boys, and it was a big rivalry, you know, that kind of started a few years before, but, you know, through college, it was cool to see, like, Lafayette and Monroe kind of go at each other. One year they won the national title, and the next year we won. So it was mind-blowing for me coming as a kid from Italy that never experienced this, you know, university lifestyle and sports, and how much attention it gives, even in a small sports like water skiing. And it was amazing. It was amazing. Like, best time of my life.
No, I love to hear that, because I went to the collegiate worlds. First of all, I skied the 87 collegiate nationals, and geez, there was like not that many teams there, you know, and it wasn't that big of a deal.
It was like 20 or 30 now.
No, exactly. And it's this, when I went for the first time, 2018, saw the shorelines packed at 6:45 a.m. I'm like, all right, this has changed. You know, this is cool. And so, no, that's the cool thing, is you guys sort of started that when you guys were rock stars internationally. And now you're going to these smaller schools that, you're rock stars there, and they're using you in the right way. They're funding this team, and it's helping the university. And so,
sure. I mean, everybody in the world knows University of Louisiana Monroe, University of Louisiana Lafayette, you know, and other tournaments, other schools. So it brings out the name of, you know, the school, and helps out, you know, the quality. And I mean, collegiate water ski, it grew so much in the last 20 years. Yeah. You know, 15, 20 years. No,
exactly. You guys are part of that.
And it keeps getting attention from people.
Yeah, because the way things were different when I was at the same age, we had pro skiing was huge. Yeah. I mean, you made ESPN, then you were guaranteed a bunch of slots in the magazine, and then the sponsors were lined up. You didn't even have to win. You just made a few podiums. So a lot of skiers didn't even go to college, because they just turned pro, like baseball, like soccer. You know, why? You know, you go make money. You're making more than the professors. So a few before me, they said to me, man, you can actually go to college. You only ski a couple times a day. You get the rest of the day, right? So no, it's really cool. You guys are the part of that next generation where all you guys went to college. All the pros did, you know, and I thought that was really cool. So let's sort of fast forward a bit from 06 to 07. And my next big recollection of T-Gas was in Groveland over at Swiss, where we were just yesterday. Yeah. It was to my knowledge, the only time we've done triple head-to-head, 3 different boats. So I was second seed for Mastercraft, because Fish was on fire, Jody Fisher. It was like one of those years where he was I think he was top 3 in the World Cup that year. So I said, yeah, good. You can be top seed, because then he would get, I think, CP and Willie. Mm-hmm. And so I took second because I was going to get you and Larkin. Well, then Larkin starts getting on fire, and then you're like growing and sort of stature, because we sort of, we talked about those matchups a bunch. So I'm saying that because you were going to win the Worlds later that year, and that was my last tournament, and I won my little matchup with you and Larkin, because maybe somebody went first. Maybe you went first and went like 3.5 at 10-7, or maybe Larkin. And then I went second because of the way the brackets were working. It was a point system where the 5th bracket had 5 points. Okay. Yeah. And the first bracket only had 1. So it was 9 points in the last 2 brackets. It was always going to be the last 2. Yeah. So then I go and run 4 at 10-7 again, just thinking like, well, that's terrible. But, whatever, you may start remembering this now, but whichever it was, you guys didn't do it. And I'm sitting there going, wow, I actually just won my heat. Yeah, this is too cool. Yeah, because I had Seth Stischer's wife standing on my back between rounds. This is bad. Yeah. Remember we had the big spray contest, all that sort of stuff. So anyway, no, I take it. I'm like, I can retire now. As a winner, and then you win the Worlds later. And I was like, I beat the world champion. I'm done. And then my last win before that was at Princess, where I beat Willie. Yep. And he was reigning world champion by 1 week.
In China.
Yeah. And I'm like, hey, my last 2 victories are against the 2 baddest dudes ever. So I'm like, I'll take that. So let's fast forward to that. How did those 07 Worlds change your life?
It took a while to understand what you accomplish when you win the world title, right? Like, at first it was like, a lot of euphoria. My parents were there. It was awesome. A lot of friends. But then, like, I realize it more now because it's been said so many times, 2-time world champion, 2-time world champion, 2-time world champion. And you don't realize at first because it's like,
dude, that gives me goosebumps.
No,
it's mythical.
Yeah, it's like forever with you, and I think it's more for after than the first day or two. When you start realizing, when everything starts calming down.
For non-water skiers or people that really aren't, it's more like an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah,
you're the Olympic. Yeah. I mean, so you're the world champion, and what most Americans don't get is that all of your European culture, all of South American, all of the Australian culture is all based on being a world champion. Yeah. I mean, it's just so ingrained, every sport. And even I was number 1 skier in the world, and I had this resume, and it was MTV Sports or something in studio in New York. And they said, world champion. If you have that on your resume,
come on in.
You come on in. Yeah. And because it just resonated so big, even to the common man, bigger than the Olympics for most people.
Well, because a lot of people, you can say Pro Tour champion, and it's hard to become a Pro Tour champion, but world champion just has just a different meaning for many others, because there's nothing better.
No, well, one of my idols, Carl Roberge, I mean, he's got this resume that just doesn't end. Except he didn't win the Worlds. In my whole career, I'm sitting with Ronnie Barton Bischoff, godmother to my little babies, and I'm in a sort of a low point in my life, and then I get inducted to the Hall of Fame, and it's kind of a cool deal. I was helping her out, actually driving trick rides or slalom rides for her, and I'm like, I got nothing to do, so it was a neat deal, and she's like, Wade, you're in the Hall of Fame. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm still pissed about the Worlds. Yeah, damn it. Yeah. The 95 Worlds, I had it in the bag and blew a tail. It's the only time I ever blew a fin in my whole life. Oh, yeah, exactly. Clint Stadelbar always reminds me, we watch that video every year when it's raining or something. And I'm like, yeah, I still blow the tail in the video. So no, man, that's when you won that, I knew wow, because I knew the same when Willie won the '05 Worlds as a kid. Man, he was like
24.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, you don't even know what that's gonna do for
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, and then winning again in 2011. You know that.
And then
that-
Willie went '09.
yeah, so it was.
Yeah,
really
I mean, it's like this epic rivalry. It's this
Oh, it's kind of like you and Andy,
No,
right?
exactly. It's
Like,
the next generation.
Well,
yeah.
a lot of people came up to me. It's like so cool to watch you and Willie go at each other because it's kind of like Wade and Andy,
Wow.
you know. And for a lot of people, it was super cool, you know. And I think it was amazing too. You know?
Well, I've already said I'll refer to it later, but I said to Willie, I said between juniors, Europeans, whatever, all the way up through all the, we call them Pan Ams,
Yeah.
you know,
Europeans, yeah.
European. So I said, how many times have you guys been on the podium together? Like sort of discard the wins and losses.
Yeah.
Just think, okay, there's only 3 spots on the podium. And that's the beauty about the Worlds, the Olympics. The 4th, yeah, you haven't won a medal.
Yeah.
You haven't earned your right to be there. So anyway, it's just
What do you
too
say?
cool. What's that?
What do you say?
Sorry, I lost you there.
What Will said? Did you ask Willie?
Sorry, we're gonna have to edit this.
Sorry,
No, go
I
back.
thought you said that Will. You asked Will how many times we've been on the podium.
Oh no, sorry. So yes, she'll edit that out. So no, I'll bring that up again. So I asked Willie in an interview, whatever, a TWBC deal. I said, hey, how many times through juniors have you guys stood on the podium together? And he goes, mate, you have no idea.
Yeah.
And I said, well, no, it's this shared, earned respect, love over time, because you're like, wow, man, there's only the one gold spot, and then there's the 2 other spots, and it's tough to be up there.
Yeah, I remember in my other house in Italy, my dad used to make pictures every time I made a podium for junior, Europeans, or world, and open division, just for European and worlds. And it's like me, Willie, me, and you can see us growing up, right?
Oh no, exactly.
From
Yeah,
kids
right,
to
right.
become a man,
Yeah.
and, you know,
Yeah.
and it was very cool, and a lot of respect for him. He's an amazing athlete, and still now is, you know, it's still cool to go out and see somebody at my age, at my level, or I'm his level, you know, and competing. So as I said earlier, it keeps us young, it keeps us going, and there's no one day that I don't love it. And even if it's a bad day, it's still what gets me going.
Yeah. So hey, let's sort of fast forward to that 21 Worlds podium, because the very next thing is sort of what it means to be in the Italian team at the Worlds, and then ultimately what it meant to stand on the Worlds again with William after all these years. Yeah, exactly. So after all these years, there's silver, and not only were you silver, but you were there with your team, and I saw that sort of, you know, the respect that you had earned, but then still how much fun you had to win your silver medal.
Yeah. So, you know, being an Italian is always, I think, like our federation gets their funding based on how many European titles or European medals and world medals we get. So it's very important for them, you know, because it's how we get the fundings to go to these events. So it was a great tournament. Like, as always, we were supported by the federation, and we had doctors and, you know, physiotherapists. And when I got second, I was so happy, but when I watched the runoff and I saw Willie killing it, and I was like, that's cool. You know? I was like, we're still up there.
Yeah.
And I remember Canada in 09. I remember that we're on the podium, you know, and other events, and it's just really cool. It just, you know, it keeps me going for sure.
So while we're on sort of an emotional topic, someone I know you had a great relationship, Dave Good.
Yeah. So Dave Good, you know, I was with HO for my first years of my pro career. And then Dave kind of contacted me, or I contacted him in 2004. I was in college, and I asked him if I could try a ski, and I was nobody. I mean, but he sent me a ski to try, and it started kind of growing, getting to know each other, and then there's a video that I made with him, for a promotional video. I said, I hope I end my career with good, and that was like in 2006 or something like. So still fairly early.
And I hated you to sort of lose you as a future teammate, because I've done 34 years now with HO. Yeah. Way before there was ever a syndicate, it's kind of a neat deal. No, I still know there's that certain amount of comfort, same with Carl, Sammy Duvall. Sammy just was with his kidder skis for so long, it just becomes almost sort of part of who you are walking around,
I remember I was in 2002, I was still in HO, and there was a Charleston Pro Tournament, and you were in the finals, and I remember like all the HO people around you, and I was like getting you gloves and ready for the final. I was like, oh, this is cool, and I didn't even know you. But back to Dave, so it's, he really cared about us as far as the athletes, and we grew this great relationship. We went to Costa Rica together with his jet for a week of just skiing. And
flying. That's on my list here next was Costa Rica.
So it was me, Rister Selly, Nick Parson, Bill Doster, Dave, and Don. So they flew from Utah, pick us up here in Orlando, and went down, and I got to take off this jet, and it was like flying around, like it was amazing.
And so I actually go now. I've been like, but pre-COVID, I went like 4 years in a row, and I went again this year to that Waterski Costa Rica.
Yeah, it's cool.
No, exactly. It's unreal. So he sort of put it on the map.
Yeah, there was no pressure. It was just let's go after the season and have like a good vacation and ski. We went zip lining, we went to the volcano. It was just great. And that's cool because you bond with these people, and then it makes it better in a way also of business wise. We listen to each other, we learn about each other, and we try to grow it together. So that was I think that was the start of our great relationship. But then we had other trips like to pro events together with his jet, but no, it grew into a good friendship. That's for sure.
So next on the list was sort of coaching, and your trip to because how many times have you been to Acapulco?
I think 17 times.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm like, oh yeah, Thomas. Yeah. So because you said your relationships, that ability, because I went down again this year. I'm going to go again next year. But I've been going now for almost like 20 something years. Yeah, on and off. And the relationships, when you get to spend that much time, it really does change things, right?
Yeah, and it's cool. It works out for both of you. Even with Gordon, like I started because Natalie Emmerich couldn't go, and I started going with 3 weeks, and right away you create this. Gordon's such a great host, and it's easy.
Absolutely,
going, it's like you can't find any better people for that kind of job, And it grew through the years. I asked him if he wanted me to come back. He said absolutely, and then here I am, 17 years later. And no, it's great time. It's a good place to go, relaxing, and you always get to meet a lot of people, good, nice people,
and they just become like friends for life. Same as the sort of Jim, the Waterski Costa Rica guy. He knew Dave good.
Yeah,
went down on one of those trips and said, "Hey." He also went to Acapulco and said, "I want to do this." Yeah. So it's the same. Yeah. Oh no, it's just every person I've been there with, they're instantly in your contact list.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, if you ever come my way,
and it's cool because even with Gordon and throughout the years, it's not just, hey, the month before, it's like, do you want to come to Acapulco? It's like, we keep in contact, and he came to Italy, brought some people over. Yeah. And, hey, how's it going? It's not just business. So it's.
No, exactly. I've seen him at so many worlds, so many nationals, and it's like, hey, Gordo, Gabriella,
and it's cool
what's
that
up?
You share the same passion about
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. So with coaching, hey, right here on your lake, you were leasing here, sort of starting to be here before you bought, and you were actually looking to buy my place on the east side, which was Carl Roberge's place, which place has got legendary status, you know? So I'm riding in the boat, and we're sort of chatting about a contract, and I listened to you coach. It was like you coaching this lady today. But I ride in the boat, and we're just shooting the breeze, and you said one particular thing, and I use it a lot because I'm always looking for ways that I can validate my coaching. And then is if there's a way I can put the onus off onto someone else, like they're the expert and not me telling them like, well, no, this guy's, that's what they're doing, you know? And so anyway, you said you had a 18-meter line, 15 off skier, 28 miles an hour. And she was getting plenty early out to the buoy, and she sort of just needed a bit of tempo, you know, because she was creating enough speed and leverage, timing on her gait was good enough. And you said, as she goes into her reach, you said, no, you have to go away from the buoy before you can go to the buoy. To the next buoy, you have to go all the way away from this one. Yeah. So, and then I was like, oh, I love that. So I was coaching lacrosse, and I sort of started saying, well, you can't throw the ball unless you do a backswing. There's got to be some sort of movement because we're moving. Yeah, it's just, when I knew Jamie Beauchesne was going to be really good, one guy you skid against, he said, it's not static for one ski length. It's this dynamic evolution of movement. Yeah. And so, no, it was really neat to hear you say that because I'm always looking for some basic thing that I can say to them. Go, yes, super easy. So now I even say, hey, we have to go right before we go left. And then we go over to ball two. We can sort of got to be going left all the way, but we can go back right. But if we're at second wake, going to ball two and we're already going right, no, we haven't even gone left yet, you know. And so anyway, no, I know a lot of people said the same. They're like, yeah, we love Thomas's coaching, you know. And I heard it and I was like, yeah. So no, here it is. We're right here. So I want to talk about one more thing before we do a quick little run through of fun stuff. You got to remember this. This was at the end of our, I call it my European vacation, at the end of 06, and Thomas has won, we talked about it, his second event in a row. He's never won a pro event in the world. So now we go to the Malibu, what's it called? The European Masters or
I think
or the French Masters.
Master, but Malibu Open, yeah.
But Malibu Open, exactly. Yeah. So I make the final, which I'm pumped about. I'm like 36, 37 years old. I've made 2 finals in a row in Europe. And I'm like, hey, I'm giving myself a shot at the podium, right? So again, on Sunday, this is my last time I'm ever going to ski in Europe. And I do a really bummer pull out from the other end at 10-7. So I scramble, sort of like your Swiss pro yesterday. You scramble all the way down to ball 5, but don't close the deal. You know, all that work for nothing, right? Because then you were like next or right after, and then you ran 10-7, and maybe Willie didn't.
And I don't know if Jamie was there that year.
No, but Jody was hot as well, and Jody didn't. And maybe Ralphie didn't.
I ran like 2 at 41 that week.
Yeah, and I think you ended up being the only one. Yeah. No, I take that back. No, maybe 1 or 2 more, but they only ran a half at 41 or 1.
I think Will ran 1. Fell between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And I thought when I got 2, I was like, oh, this is not going to be enough. Knowing what happened last weekend.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So no. So he wins second event in a row. And as we're in Europe, so we're all flying back to the States, but you always have to wait till the next day. It's, you know, per the flight schedule. So Sunday night Lacanau is sort of like Monday night Moomba. It's going to be a large one if you want to participate.
Yep.
But before we could participate, the World Cup final was on. And so we go to the French bar downtown Lacanau Océan, right on the boulevard.
We got to say it was Italy versus France in the final
exactly
on that Sunday.
Yes, this is the World Cup final. So Italy wins. This is Zidane headbutted. The guy gets booted out. And France wins. Italy wins 1-0.
Yeah.
And then you said as soon as the match was ended, you said we got to go to the nightclub because nobody French was happy now.
No.
So tell us.
They hated us.
No, hated us. I've actually was wearing, if you remember,
the white jersey.
Yeah, you're a Team Italia jersey. Yeah,
and they're all crying.
And we're 2 big guys. And so one more thing, I have this little jealousy note. side note to this 2-week trip. This one youngster and a few others, I won't name names, but they are making light of this. And now we're maybe having an adult beverage. And I'm like, you guys talking about Thomas?
I didn't know that.
No, exactly. No, exactly. Yeah, they were like more like, second tier guys, not A-team guys necessarily. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. I said, none of you guys made the cuts. Thomas won both events. He's like this 6'4", 6'5", good-looking Italian guy with all the women just chasing him around and all the dudes want to be him. I can understand why you guys are jealous. So that was sort of what I know from the inside.
I didn't know that.
Being in a gentleman's room. Yeah, I'm like, I remember sort of when that was touche back to me. And I'm like, well, wow, I didn't know. I was thought of as uncool because now I've stepped up a level, because they all know, no, he stepped up, right, to that level. No, that was fun. 2-week trip for me. And then to be there for that World Cup final. So what does it mean for Italians? Football.
Oh, it's
soccer. Sorry for you Americans.
well, I mean, they stopped everything for soccer in Europe.
Enough said.
Like they stopped everything.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. Like
Yes.
the world stopped.
So same for the French people with Tour de France.
Oh yeah.
So I met Arnaud, the Belgium kid. Tour de Flanders, same way. If you are Belgium, in Belgium, you walk out on the side of the road that day.
Oh yeah.
And then you go back and watch it on TV.
Oh yeah.
So no, man, it was really cool to be there with you. For that final. It was one of those, I'm like, I'll never, ever forget this, So, okay, hey, let's have some quick fun before we end. This one is a true-false question.
All right.
Was the typewriter invented in Italy?
True.
Nailed it. Yeah. My producer, Lisa, did a little research this morning. So she sent me a few little items of note. Which city was pizza created in?
Naples.
Nailed it, dude. 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, good. Because I've questioned on an old podcast both Willie and Handsome Rob
I heard
on the
that.
English Brekkie. And they're like,
Yeah, that's not English.
yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I got it off. Yeah. So anyway, how many World Cup football titles has Italy won?
4.
Yeah, you had to get that one right. No chance to get it wrong. How many? We already talked about Volcano Arenal down there, Waterski, Costa Rica.
Yep.
How many active volcanoes are in Italy?
2.
Oh,
Wrong.
yeah,
1.
3.
3.
Vesuvius,
Vesuvio.
Etna, and Stromboli.
Oh, okay. I thought 2. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so no,
forgot about
that's cool.
Stromboli.
All right, so he's at least missed 1. He showed he's human, right? So, and if you also remember, I put Manon and Freddie, sort of the British against the France deal on one of the prior podcasts. Yeah, almost created it like a domestic there.
Yeah.
So last question. It's 2-part.
Mm-hmm.
How many gallons of wine does the average Italian drink a year?
Oh, gallons?
Gallons.
Oh, I have no idea. Wait. So, 1 gallon is 3.79 liters. Consider the Italians drinks a lot of wine. So 30.
Hey, not bad. Okay, if it was like whatever an over or under, you'd be over 26 gallons.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Those are very, very
drink
educated
wine,
clue.
yeah.
No, exactly. Even if you're a pro athlete, you skew the numbers wrong. So everyone else is like, yeah. So then second part to last one. How many kilos of pasta would the average Italian eat?
A year?
And I'm like almost part Italian. I think I'm part of that Italian deals that took off to Irish in England because, I'm dark and tall and I can eat a ton of it.
About
Italian
20. How many kilos?
How many kilos?
20 kilos.
All right, not bad. You were under on this one. 25 kilos.
25 kilos.
Yeah, so close. Like very educated guess. I like
I'm
that.
thinking how much kilos they usually eat. And
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
No, hey, man, this has been so much fun, Thomas.
been an honor.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I've been like sort of dying to sit down with you. And then Lisa's been saying, no, you got to add the cameras because you got to get your like facial expressions.
Yeah.
I can't sit still, and people know that when my coaching. And so, no, this has been joy to say the least. Yeah.
No, it's been great, and I'm happy to still compete. And as I always say, I owe it to my parents that allow me to be here and be who I am, and never really went against what I wanted to do, and always supported my decisions. And of course, they gave me good advices and made me who I am. And thanks to my sponsors, and thanks to you for having me, Wade. It's definitely a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. So, hey, just to wrap up, remember, you'll be able to catch this on skiwithwade.com, and you'll be able to check out any merch. I got new merch, and I got HO gear, any tubes, skis, whatever you might need for your boat. I got, like I said, any old podcast vlogs will be available, and my Ski with Wade tour dates. If you want to catch me sometime when I'm not on the road with TWBC with this guy, then yeah. So anyway, cut more rope, and like this guy, rip it. That's a wrap this week for Ski with Wade podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to email me at wade@skiwithwade.com or direct message me on Instagram or Facebook with any questions you may have. We'll cut more rope next week. Ski with Wade.